Hello everyone, right now you're watching a Guardian gameplay on the map Spire, and for this video I'm going to give you some tips and tricks that you can use to increase your success in the game type Guardian. Now if you're like me, you're trying to grind for your diamond status on all the playlists, so I figured now would be a really good time to reintroduce the game type tips series that I had going a while back. In this match, you're going to see me miss a lot of god-awful easy snipe shots. One of them's about to come up. Please shield your eyes. Oh my god. But you're also going to see a lot of solid snipe hits throughout this match. Nonetheless, let's get right into the tips and tricks for this game type. Obviously, there's going to be two roles that you can play as in Guardian. You're either the leader or you're not the leader. And I'm going to start off as the leader since I think there's a lot more to say for this particular role. I don't like to be the leader because I think that it requires a kind of passive game style to do your job correctly, which is, in my opinion, to stay alive. Your number one task as the leader is to stay alive. As long as you are alive, your teammates can keep respawning. Now, with that said, just because you want to stay alive, it doesn't necessarily mean that you want to camp or sit in a corner. Right now, what you're seeing me do is back off into spawn, pulling up the minimap, and I'm actually calling out the positions on the enemy teams. Whether or not you realize, when you're the leader and you pull up the minimap, the enemy players, with the exception of the enemy team's leader, I believe, will pop up on your minimap and you'll be able to call them out for your teammates. So throughout this whole match, including this very moment right now, you see that I pull up the mini-map and I'm literally calling out all the positions of the enemy team so my teammates know where they are, they know how to push and what they should be doing. So the mini-map is an excellent tool for you to use to still participate in the round and kind of play passively. Now you have to be careful and make sure that you're safe and that you set up in a safe spot to check your mini-map. As you could see from the previous kind of times that I did that, I did it in spawn, I knew I was safe, I checked on the minimap to make sure my surroundings were safe, and that is one of the most important and easy ways that you as the leader can help your team succeed in winning the round while also just staying alive. Now, I also just want to talk a bit about the supporter role, because as the leader, that is basically what your role is going to be. You are supporting your team while they're trying to take out the enemy team. Now, I think it's important to kind of mention the difference that I'm envisioning in my head. There will be leaders who will, off the start of spawn, go hide in a corner or just stay in spawn to stay alive. That's not necessarily a bad decision. Once again, the most important thing as the leader is to stay alive, but that's also not necessarily the best decision in my opinion. As the leader, you want to think of how you can support your team while keeping safe. On Spire, you can see for me that was grabbing the sniper and laying down a bunch of shots and still picking off kills at a distance and keeping myself safe. But I also want to give you another hypothetical on a different map. So let's just think about Harbor for a sec. On the map Harbor, I've seen teams where a leader will literally just spawn and hide somewhere, which is fine, but I think the better move as the leader, as long as you're safe and conscientious about it, is to go support your teammate in a certain area, let's say over the drop shot area, with your Lancer and put down some supporting shots. And my reasoning behind this is that 5 active players is better than 4 active players when you're trying to win the round. So basically, the underlying point that I'm trying to get at is with the leader, you're kind of having a fine balance between two different things, and that's 1, staying alive, and B, being an active participant in the round and still trying to help. And just to summarize how I've said that you can do this by referring to your mini-map to call out enemy positions, and you can also act as a supporter by following your teammates around or covering them with snipers. So just because you're the leader doesn't mean you're not able to do those things, but you do have to realize that it is your job to stay alive, which means you can't be running in all the time and putting yourself at risk. And if you do get spotted as the leader, the spot lasts for quite some time, which makes it a lot easier for the other team to take you down. So that's another reason why you might not want to be charging in or getting too far up. Just another word about the leader. Funny enough, whenever I play this game type, there's always these people I come across that seem to have this switch in their head where they'll be the leader for their team, they'll see that the enemy leader has died, and then all of a sudden they think that they're invincible and they run in and they think it's perfectly okay for them to start playing aggressive. When you are the leader, even if the other team's leader dies, it is the most rational move to not actually be aggressive in advance. Let your teammates go and die as much as they want to pick up the final kills, because once again, if you're alive, they can respawn. So many times I've seen leaders screw up by charging in after the enemy team leader dies, thinking that they've won the round, and then they actually die, and then you basically have a game of Warzone on your hands. And if the other team is good enough, they'll do what they need to do to take out the few remaining players. So that's another thing you really need to be conscientious about as the leader. Just accept that it's your job to play passively in that respect, to do the best you can for your team. Now I just want to briefly talk about when you're not the leader. I think there's less to say about this particular role, but I often like to divide myself into either like a defender category or an attacker category when I'm not the leader. I just think it's easier to kind of understand what it is you should be doing, or how your team can set up to avoid confusion. So let's say you have one designated defender, two designated attackers, and kind of a free roamer. That will give you peace of mind as to who's helping the leader and who is attacking, so you don't have to worry too much and dilly-dally going back and forth with who it is that you want to be supporting or going after. Now, another thing with Guardian is that the respawns are actually very lengthy. So when people die, they're going to be out for quite some time. This obviously needs to be understood from two respects. One, when you are up lives, or two, when you are actually having a lot of your teammates dead. So if you find that the other team has, let's say you killed 3 people on the other team, you only know 2 are alive, what that is a window. That's a window of opportunity for you to push, for you to hunt for their leader, and for you to be aggressive, because you're not going to have too many guys to deal with. Conversely, if you see that a lot of your team has died and you're the leader, or you're one of the last few guys, that means if the other team is smart, they're probably going to rush you and go after you, because that's the best window that they're going to have for that given time period. If you're in that case, you're probably going to want to rotate out and try to find a safer area, and that's actually what I did this last round, whether or not you realized it, is I rotated to the other side of the map to just kind of run away from the enemy team, with, once again, the idea of just staying alive. So that is one of the few ways that I can think of, other than power weapons, that you might want to consider when you're trying to take out the leader, because it can often be very challenging, but that goes for both teams. So all else being equal, you both have a fair shot at it. And that's actually going to be just about it for the video. Just closing it out, you can see how safe I'm being as the leader, just backing off and letting my gang of COG basically take out this player, and I don't even feel the need to help them. They got it, and if they die, then they'll respawn. Probably should have put a couple shots in, but chose not to because I'm very lazy. Anyway, I hope that this video was helpful for you, and I hope that it will help you get your diamond status in Guardian, and thank you very much for watching.